very much, everyone. Ms. Janish, when you are ready, if you could call us to order, please.
This meeting, which is hereby called to order, is in compliance with the notice requirements of the law. Public notice is posted in the office of the Board of Education and communicated to the municipal clerk, the Daily Record, and the Star Ledger on January 9, 2017.
Okay, and just on the agenda, we're going to flip something out of sequence where, if I could ask everyone to stand for the flag salute and then remain standing for just a moment of silence for those who have served our country and made the ultimate sacrifice, and in honor of those who continue to serve our country today. So we will stand, please. And salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, everyone. Okay, and now roll call.
Mr. Brucio? Ms. Dodd?
Here.
Ms. Rosario? Mr. Miller?
Here.
Mrs. Laurie?
Yes.
Mr. Scarnio?
Here.
Mrs. Mullen?
Here.
Mrs. Phillips? Here. Ms. Ruiz?
Here.
Mrs. Shower?
Here. Thank you very much. And this is the part of the meeting where we come to the public comment in reference to agenda items only. If you'd like to be heard, we can offer you 3 minutes to stand up, give us your name, your address for reference. We'll be speaking this evening for a grand total of 30 minutes. Sometime we will be able to answer you at the end of the meeting. Sometimes we will not be able to answer your questions. So please, if you're interested in standing, now is your time. No one in reference to agenda items. Okay, seeing no one, I'll close that portion of the meeting. At the end of the meeting, we will have another public comment about any of the items. Okay, moving on to approval of minutes. We have committee of the whole session from May 9th and executive session from May 9th.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any questions, comments, corrections? Everybody's good. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Communications, Ms. Jensen.
I have nothing at this time.
Very good, thank you. On to Board Secretary and Treasurer reports. Mrs. Laurie?
I move we approve the Secretaries and Treasurers' reports for the month ending April 30, 2017, with a cash balance $9,108,621.95.
Second. Very good, thank you. We have a motion, we have a second. Any questions, comments? Nothing? Everybody's good. Okay, roll call, please.
Okay, Mr. Brucio?
Yes.
Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Laurie?
Yes.
Mr. Scarnio?
Yes.
Mrs. Mullen?
Yes.
Mrs. Phillips?
Yes.
Ms. Ruiz?
Yes.
Mrs. Shower?
Yes. Thank you, Mrs. Laurie. On to Superintendent's report. Mr. Becker.
Thank you, ma'am. We're blessedly short tonight. We recommend the out-of-district placement for the student as noted.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Any questions or comments? Okay, no questions, comments. I don't see a vote on there. Can I just do voice vote?
Oh,
I can,
He probably moved it.
I can make a note of the 2 different votes if you'd like.
Okay.
Mr. Brucio?
Yes.
Ms. Dodd?
yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Laurie?
Yes.
Mr. Scarnio?
Yes.
Mrs. Mullen?
Yes.
Mrs. Phillips?
Yes.
Ms. Ruiz? Yes. Mrs. Shower?
Yes. Thank you for that.
The next item, we recommend the field trips and travel authorization as per the attached list. Ms. Colligan is on for the field trip. And in terms of professional development and travel authorization, we have 2 people, the AP Language and Composition Summer Institute and a meeting with the Morris Arts Director of Arts to discuss possible grant opportunities.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any questions or comments from anyone?
I just needed to, I was just asking Ms. Janish, I think is it Jason Connell or Roger Connell? Is there a Jason Connell?
on the name?
It should be Roger.
Okay, thank you. All right. so
Okay,
then
we can just make that correction.
Thank you, Mrs. Chair.
Thank you very much.
I thought maybe somebody slipped in there.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Brucio?
Yes.
Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Laurie?
Yes.
Mr. Scarnio?
Yes.
Mrs. Mullen?
Yes.
Mrs. Phillips?
Yes.
Ms. Ruiz?
Yes.
Mrs. Shower?
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Becker. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to personnel, Mr. Miller.
I recommend that the board approve staff and extra services appointments for the 2016-17 school year as listed. We have items 1 through 5, and then B1, can we do them all together, or?
Sure.
Okay, 1 through 9.
Okay, we're moving straight through to page 5.
Five.
Yes, 5.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Any questions or comments? Okay, roll call then, please.
Mr. Brucio?
On A, abstain from 2 and 3, and yes to the rest.
Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes?
Mrs. Laurie?
Yes.
Mr. Scarnio?
Yes.
Mrs. Mullen?
Yes.
Mrs. Phillips?
Yes.
Ms. Ruiz?
Yes.
Mrs. Shower?
Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Miller. Curriculum and co-curricular activities, Mrs. Mullen.
Move that the board recommends approval of the Dover High School Athletic Association Treasurers Report compiled by Mr. Bullock, Athletic Director, for the month of April 2017.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Thank you for that. Any questions or comments about the report? Everybody's good? Okay, roll call then, please.
Mr. Brucio?
Yes.
Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes?
Mrs. Laurie?
Yes.
Mr. Scarnio?
Yes.
Mrs. Mullen?
Yes.
Mrs. Phillips?
Yes.
Ms. Ruiz?
Yes.
Mrs. Shower?
Yes. Thank you very much, Mrs. Mullen. Okay, I was going to say Mr. Miller again, I did that the last time. On to community relations, Ms. Rosario is not here tonight. Ms. Laurie, could you take that for me, please?
Yes, we have the menograms, and there were quite a few adorable things in there. Children talking about the last year, so that was fun to read in there. They're very cute. Congratulations to the Dover High School National Honor Society members and inductees. Mrs. Shower and I attended, and as usual, it's quite a pleasure to celebrate with these extremely high achieving students. Then we also had the opportunity to attend something that our district has had. This is the first year. It is the New Jersey Seal of Biliteracy. Many of you, if you had come here to the meetings, you saw Mr. Quinones give a presentation about how these students not only have achieved in English, but they have achieved this year, particularly in Spanish. But I know New Jersey, I was speaking to Mr. Quinones, and he was saying how New Jersey will be expanding it to other languages as well. And that was a lovely evening. Families were so extremely proud. And what an opportunity for these students going forward with their college applications and whatever they do. So it was really quite impressive. Even the AP, I guess the AP score, they must score a 4, which is just amazing. Then we also had, many of you may have attended, our arts festival that was held right here in the high school. It was fabulous. I see Ms. Gaynor Matanti back there. It was absolutely wonderful to see all the artwork. You can see many of it's still up here, and we had the music and a lot of hard work and just a wonderful thing to see, especially in this time when it seems some districts have to remove parts of their arts program. And in the meantime, we're increasing, so it's a great thing. And then, okay, now I make a motion upon the recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education recognizes and accepts the harassment, intimidation, and bullying incidences reported for the period May 5, 2017 through May 25.
Second.
Very good, thank you for that. We have a motion, we have a second. Any questions or comments? Everybody's good. Okay, roll call then, please.
Mr. Brucio?
Yes.
Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Laurie?
Yes.
Mr. Scarnio?
Yes.
Mrs. Mullins?
Yes.
Mrs. Phillips?
Yes.
Ms. Ruiz?
Yes.
Mrs. Shower?
Yes. Thank you,
And then I make a motion to approve the first reading of policy 0141.3. It's board member use of internet, social networks, and other forms of electronic communication, which was provided by the New Jersey School Boards Association.
Second.
okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Questions, comments?
Just to confirm, the policy is, but for any identifying pieces, like to apply to Dover, it's exactly the same as the New Jersey School Boards Association presented to us?
The copy of the policy,
Right.
did you read the copy of the policy?
Yes, and that's exactly.
Nothing had
it.
been changed. Nothing had been changed. It is, as it came from New Jersey School Boards, and it was their recommendation because we did not have a separate policy for board members themselves. We have it for students, we have it for staff, we did not have it for board members. And that's a rising issue, not only in New Jersey, but throughout the nation. So she suggested, our field rep suggested that we add that. Correct, it is exactly the same.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Brucio?
Yes.
Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Laurie?
Yes.
Mr. Scarnio?
Yes.
Mrs. Mullins?
Yes.
Mrs. Phillips?
Yes.
Ms. Ruiz?
Yes.
Mrs. Shower?
Yes. Thank you very much, Mrs. Laurie. On to buildings and grounds, Mrs. Dodd.
Okay, I ask that the board recommends approval of the use of the Dover Public School facilities as follows. We have the high school and we have the East Dover Media Room on June 6th, and then in November 7th for the elections. And then the Hamilton Fields for our annual fireworks display, and that would be July 3rd.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. Any questions or comments by anyone? Yes,
The rain date isn't on here, but I did see it on the town website, so.
what do they have a what date?
They did have a
They
rain
always
date.
have a rain date, so
But
it's
it's not on
it's
our-
the following full week
July.
away,
Is it on
right?
the application?
It is.
It's July 5th.
July
Okay, so on the
Oh, only 2
application,
days.
it is July 5th.
You know, to add July 5th.
Okay, so we're going to add that. Thank you, Ms. Mullins, for bringing it to our attention.
And just a question about the primaries, because that's the same night as our awards dinner, is that right? And where will the awards
I
dinner
believe
be?
the awards dinner is in the cafeteria?
And then the election in the
Is in the
auditorium?
auditorium, yes.
Thank you.
And then we do expect to receive these fees. We know them.
Yes, we're not waiving,
Okay.
we're not requesting that we waive it. Okay, any other questions, comments? All good? All righty, roll call, please.
Mr. Brucio?
Yes.
Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
Mr. Miller? Mrs. Laurie?
Yes.
Mr. Scarnio?
Yes.
Mrs. Mullins?
Yes.
Mrs. Phillips?
Yes.
Ms. Ruiz?
Yes.
Mrs. Shower?
Yes. Thank you very much, Ms. Dodd. Ms. Laurie, again, budget and finance, please.
Okay, I move we approve and/or adopt the following resolutions as listed. Many wonderful scholarship fund opportunities. A lot of generous
Second.
people.
Okay, we have a motion and we have a second.
Second.
That's for items 1 through 10?
Yes.
Yes, through page 9.
Oh, you know what, I have a question about the cafeteria report. I know that, I guess we have what? We have quite a bit of money again, and has that been paying for the people working in the cafeteria, like the,
The cafeteria bookkeeper,
okay,
her salary and benefits
Oh.
are not included on a Pontoni report.
okay, that's what I assumed.
Because it did look
But
like
I
it
just,
was
I know,
much higher.
I know, so I figured that's what it was,
And
so,
also, we have expenditures for repairs
okay,
of equipment.
So this is not a final,
Right, this
Right.
is
That's
just
the
from
end.
Pontoni and for our food
okay.
service.
So we're
So it is
probably
showing-
gonna be covered, and we're probably gonna be breaking even.
Break
Or
even
pretty
or
close.
pretty close to it.
Okay.
We will not be losing.
Close enough so that CUSAC will be happy.
Right.
Okay.
so if that's unclear, if you'll see on the cafeteria report, you'll see year-to-date, the final amount, I think it's 114,000 and change. That's what we're talking about. That's not a final figure. There are many deductions that still have to be made from that. That's just from Pontonian's report. The actual reporting will take place at the end of the school
Right.
year.
Because the state of New Jersey requires
Correct.
that we pretty much break even
It's
or
not a money
are
making.
very close
Right,
to
as
it.
long as we don't lose any, but it's
And we're getting-
110,000 on.
And we're getting close to the end where we have
Right.
to show. Okay.
Okay.
I just have a question on 8. What does our contract with Phoenix Advisors do? And then I see that there is a fee for them to be a continuing disclosure agent service or to provide that service, and no fee for the registered municipal advisor of record. And I just don't know what those two things mean.
Okay, we have bonds that we're paying off the district for some renovations that we had several years ago for the middle school. And there are numerous disclosures that have to be made to the SEC throughout the year. And this consulting firm does that on our behalf, on the school's behalf.
Is this a one-time annual fee?
Yes.
Very good. And the only bonds that we do have are for the middle school reconstruction
Correct.
and addition. Okay, very good. Any other questions, anyone? Okay, roll call then, please. Okay.
Mr. Brucio?
Yes.
Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Laurie?
Yes.
Mr. Scarnio?
Yes.
Mrs. Mullen?
Yes.
Mrs. Phillips?
Yes.
Ms. Rueff?
Yes.
Mrs. Shower?
Yes on items A 1 through 3, and then 5 through, 10, abstaining on item number 4. Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Laurie. Dover report from Mine Hill, Mr. Lucio.
Nothing new at this time.
Okay, no report. Mr. Miller, did you want to give an update at this time
Yes.
from the committee?
As a lot of the public knows, that's been in the papers, there was an article that was just published in the Randolph Reporter that titled "Dover Blocks Mine Hill's Bid to Return 7th Grade to Kentville Ave School." Unfortunately, the title was misleading because Mine Hill had put in a petition to the State Education Commissioner to begin the process to have their 7th grade returned to their district, and they did that on March 27th. Dover answered the petition, and we await for the commissioner to make the decision on what's going to happen. So, I had some parents talk to me about it, and, it's just a little misleading on the process and how long it's going to take, because we don't know how long it will take for the commissioner to respond, leaving only a few months left to create a middle school for students. One of the things that it also mentioned in the article was that it said 70% of the people surveyed were in favor of removing their students from the Dover School District. But the thing that it failed to mention is that the sample size of the people that responded was very small. Only 164 people responded, meaning only 114 people were in favor. A number of folks that I talked to didn't even know that there was a survey out that would have responded opposing that move. So I think there's a lot to come, but just so everyone knows, the action is not from us blocking anything. We are just simply responding to the petition that Mine Hill put in. Is there anything else I need to add?
Not to my knowledge, Mr. Cruz, or anything?
No, I think that one of the points in the article was, the article indicated that Dover had filed a petition.
Yeah, we did not.
Dover did not file a petition. Mine Hill filed a petition. Dover filed an answer to the petition, and it now will proceed through the process.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Miller, thank you, Mr. Cruz. On to old business. We had, as Ms. Laurie had reported earlier, we had several occasions that were very, very, very joyful. We had our National Honor Society induction. That was a beautiful ceremony for our students, a little bit different this year. We had dinner for them. It was held in the cafeteria. The families could mingle. The families could get to know the staff that was involved. It was very nice. I think the families very much appreciated that.
Oh, yeah.
That closeness. And it's, again, the same with the bilingual certification ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
Fabulous to be able to have close contact with those parents. Mr. Canone has a relationship with them where he gets to know the entire family. And that was another wonderful experience. Concerts, we had...
Middle school, I went to the middle school concert.
Did you want to report on that?
Yeah, it was fabulous, and the place was packed, and the singing and the instrumental play was unbelievable. It was very good.
Very good, very good. And then we had the 8th grade award ceremony, and I understand that several board members, it was their first time attending. Was that your first time?
No, I went when Jordan wasn't here.
Right, you had gone as a parent, as a board member, it was
Yes,
your first
yes.
time. Who else went? Mrs. Rosario and Mr. Scarnio. Do either of you want to report on it? Would you like to give a report on your experience as a board member?
It's nice. I like to go there and just see, the different kids. And I will say that from all the students that got awards, I only knew 2 of them because I know a lot of kids from sports, and there were not a lot of kids from that. So I enjoyed that because it was a whole group of kids. I texted Jordan, I'm like, I only know 2 kids here. So I did enjoy that, just getting to see, kids that I'm not as familiar with getting the awards. It was nice. It's always a nice dinner. The food is nice. The whole event is very nice.
Because you see how excited everyone is. It's not just the students, it's the families.
Yes, and the one boy who got the principal's award, he had like his whole family, and I think his whole block was there. Like there were so many people there, and they were so happy for him, and it was nice. I was very happy for him. So it was nice.
There was probably about 130 people
Wow.
at the dinner. Very nice dinner. The 7th grade students actually served dinner,
Oh, nice.
which was very nice. So they were involved in the whole process. So I'm sure hopefully looking forward to their turn next year.
Very nice.
It was a very, very nice affair that was organized by the middle school.
Very good, that's great to hear. And then our fantastic arts festival, including the Dover High School Spring Concert. On behalf of the board, I sent an email out thanking Mr. Franks, Ms. Dina Montanti, and please, I hope that you did relay it to the staff, and I mean staff from our maintenance crew, our everyone, the servers who were serving the hors d'oeuvres, absolutely fantastic. There was not one unjoyful response from parents, from board members, everyone. It was a wonderful experience.
It's hard to find a parking spot.
It was hard. That's the only, yes, and that's a good sign, though. That's an excellent sign to say there's no parking. That's great. Exactly. So again, thank you very much. And if you are here and you had not, please take your time as you leave later on this evening to take a look at some of our artwork, because it's absolutely beautiful.
We were pretty close to standing room only in the auditorium, which in
Wow.
35 years, so that's the first time I've ever
Yes.
seen that.
Yes, yes. Very, very good. Very good.
I have to say, I YouTubed one of the songs that the choir did. I think it's I Found.
Oh,
and
beautiful.
I loved our choirs much more than the original on YouTube. And it was really
Performances were
impressive.
outstanding.
It was so beautiful.
Each time we do this and we say we can't top this, and then it happens, it's a moving experience for us, because then we realize when you see all of our work, this just didn't happen. It didn't happen a couple of days before the event. This happens, this is an ongoing process for years. This took budgeting from 5-6 years ago to make sure that we have the funds to do these events, because as Ms. Laurie said, some districts, this is a thing of the past. These things are not happening.
They're losing their programs.
More and more students are becoming involved.
Yes,
You
involved
see
in it. The size of the
Students
choir.
playing drums for the first time in
Yes.
uniform.
Amazing.
The band completely filled the stage with so many different instruments, and then the guitars, all
And the
different
chorus is just
And the
phenomenal.
canon at the end of the patriotic song was really nice.
Absolutely.
That would be a surprise.
Absolutely beautiful. It was a surprise, but it wasn't a bad surprise. It was good. It was good. Very, very nice. So thank you again, everyone involved in putting that together. The last thing that I have in old business, I know, Ms. Ruiz, that you had requested an email to the committee in reference to the Safe School Zone Committee that we meet soon. I know that Mr. Miller and Ms. Laurie just received your email before the meeting this evening, so it was a little impossible for tonight. Perhaps we can target for next meeting. Try and get a committee meeting
And
prior
that's
to
June 13 is our next one?
June 13th, yes.
Okay. So
You wanna
is
meet
earlier
before-
or
Earlier.
right, yeah. Okay.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I certainly.
So 6:30 or 7 o'clock, whichever, I don't know how long you,
6:30 is fine.
6:30 on June 13th?
yes.
Thank you, Madam President.
Okay. Alrighty, on to new business. We have our rolling calendar with our next meeting being June 13th, and then our board retreat on June 27th, where our field representative from New Jersey School Boards will be joining us for that. We also have the National Junior Honor Society induction, June 1st, and that is at the Eastover School Gymnasium. Eastover members, who is that? Whose school is that? Ms. Ruiz?
I'm gonna go.
You're gonna be going?
Yeah.
Ms. Ruiz, are you gonna be attending?
Hold on a second. What's our date again? June 7th? I believe so.
June 1st.
June 1st.
Yep, June 1st, Thursday?
This Thursday.
This Thursday.
Oh, no, I actually work Thursday nights. So
Okay.
I won't be there.
So, perhaps one of us could join Ms. Phillips. Okay, so we
Thank
got
you.
that. Very good. Could you RSVP for us that two will be attending? Thank you. And then we have the Dover High School class of 2017 senior scholarship and award ceremony right here in our school cafeteria on June 6th at 7 p.m. in the evening. Again, if you are going to be attending, please let us know right away, because that's another sit-down dinner. You're presenting, but
Yeah.
you are also attending as a board member.
Yes.
Okay.
Same. I'm presenting as well.
And presenting and attending as a board member, Ms. Bonner. Just attending. Anybody else?
I'll be not attending.
I'm attending, I'm not presenting, but I am attending.
I'm attending. I
So
already
that's 1, 2,
RSVP'd.
3, 4, 5, 6 of us, Mr. Scarnio, no?
It's election day.
Okay, right,
Yeah, that's
right, so that's 6 of us.
I did RSVP. I don't know if that changes your.
Yeah, I did also, but just for our
Okay.
record, we
Yeah,
have
just-
6 attending.
I'll just confirm it.
Right.
Thank you.
And then lastly, we have the annual academic achievement recognition dinner on June 7th. That's for myself and Ms. Laurie, Mr. Becker, Ms. Schoonmaker, and Mr. Bullock are attending that, and we always look forward to that, to see where all the other valedictorians, salutatorians are attending school. Other new business that we have, I had several emails from Ms. Ruiz. First one being the New Jersey School Boards is partnering through a gracious grant through Stephen Van Zandt, Little Stevie, Rock and Roll Forever Foundation, for a free art curriculum partnering with New Jersey School Boards. I did pass that on to Mr. Becker. We're not aware of that yet through the school. I don't think we have received anything. And I think you looked it up, Mr. Becker.
Yeah.
It's curriculum that,
Yeah, they have to use, so
Okay.
actually you can just go and download them.
Right.
It's not really a grant, you can just get them.
so normally what happens with music, for those that don't understand the process, we have to purchase the rights to music, to use music, correct?
Right?
And it is not cheap. So anything that's played, anything with the marching band, anything that's with the choir, any of those things, we have to purchase that. So if this would be a money savings for us if, say, our guitar class can download some of his curriculum.
If the music is included.
If the music is included, that's the hitch. So there was not a lot of information, but there's another website that you can go to. So we will, we'll check it out with school boards, but it's a great collaboration. And then I know, Ms. Ruiz, you were speaking earlier with Mr. Scarnio in reference to Freehold Board of Education versus the State Department of Education in reference to funding. Did you want to speak on that, Mr. Scarnio?
Yeah. Ms. Ruiz asked about the lawsuit that Freehold Borough has filed against the State Board of Education over the funding, and asked if any of that applied to Dover, that we might be able to also either join in on that or file our own lawsuit. And the facts of that case are really quite different from what we had. Freehold Borough is very much underfunded by the state of New Jersey. They get less than half of what the 2008 law mandates that they should get from the state. Their number should be about $23 million in state aid. They get 9.6. That number has been flat for several years. Freehold is also in a situation where they are severely overcrowded. Their existing school facilities were built for about 1,100 students. They currently are pushing 1,800 in their system, which is putting class sizes up between 30 and 40 students a class, if not more. That exceeds the state recommendations for class size. They are, I believe, the third most underfunded district in the state of New Jersey. They've attempted to do 2 referendums to do school construction to ease their overcrowding. They've been ordered by the state to do an expansion of their school system. Unfortunately, the tax cap of 2% precludes them from raising taxes enough to even think about covering the expense of additional school buildings. So for that reason, they have filed a lawsuit against the state of New Jersey and the state's Board of Education in order to get financial relief. It's a totally different situation with us. We are not anywhere as close to that severity, overcrowding. And I don't think we really have any overcrowding as far as the state numbers apply. I'm not sure, maybe Mr. Bettis, I don't know, what percentage are we below the 2008 recommended? I know we're not anywhere close to.
It's hard to tell. We have a few spots that we're worried about, but overall our classes are in the lower end, nowhere approaching 40.
Yeah.
In a classroom. I can't imagine an elementary classroom with 40 students.
Yeah, and I believe they are only a K-8 district because they go to a regional high school. So, yeah, it's a totally different situation from what we have here. We're in great shape compared to what they are down there.
Thank you very much. I hope that clarifies.
Just one more, and this may be speculative, but if they were to win the lawsuit that the state needs to fund them, would that trickle down to the rest of us that are also underfunded, or that would be only specific to Freehold?
That would be specific to Freehold. The other issue that they have down there is in Monmouth County, where they are very, very sensitive. The state legislators that handle Monmouth County are also responsible for Asbury Park, which is grossly overfunded. So now they're even a little shell-shocked of anything that has to do with school funding down there, because they're now facing both ends of the school funding fiasco that the state has created.
Okay. Thank you
so much.
Thank you for that explanation. Okay, also our board retreat, we mentioned it earlier, June 27th. We'll also be at that point handing out the school board self-evaluation for board members and also the superintendent's evaluation to then be returned at the following meeting 2 weeks later. So school boards will go over with, especially for our new board members, the process of filling out these evaluation forms. It is the school board's form itself that we will be using. And then we compile the results. They all go back to Mr. Miller, who's head of personnel. He compiles a report to give back to the board on items that we need to work on, and just a synopsis of what the reports contain. Okay, and that's going to be a lengthy evening, so be prepared for that on the 27th if you have to make any arrangements for late stay. Do we have a time? Well, we're starting at normal time. We're opening an executive session, and then we open up to the public, and then we close our regular meeting and move on to the retreat. The retreat is open to the public for observation. There is no public comment at the end of the board retreat, though. It's just for observation. Also, when dealing with school boards just recently, May 22nd, myself, Ms. Laurie, Ms. Jenish, the superintendent, assistant superintendent, we sought advice on some concerns that myself and some other board members had on activities that have taken place at recent board meetings that were making some of us uncomfortable, and we wanted to see if there was a better way that we could achieve the same goals without making board members feel uncomfortable, and that I could lead that meeting. So she came up with, her name is Charlene Peterson from New Jersey School Board. She's our field representative. She came up with some variations of codes of conducts that other board members, other boards have used. One specifically was Milburn. That was very similar to what we needed. Something simple, something concise, and something that board members can refer to on how we interact with each other and how we also interact with the public. So the board members all received the first draft of that. We're not voting on that this evening. We're hoping to put it in play if we don't have too many changes on it by the June 27th retreat. We'll vote on it at that time, and board members are also asked at that time to sign and agree to adhering to the code of conduct. And I think that is it for new business. Anybody else, new business?
I have two questions. With the conduct policy, might we receive it in a Word document, so if we do have some changes to suggest, that we can do that?
Yes, definitely. I can send it to all of the board members in Word if you like, so you can mark it up. Yep.
Thank you. And then, did you want to address the National Association of Latino Elected Officials invitation?
And I spoke with Ms. Jenish today about future. That was a solicitation that we received. We received all kinds of solicitations, all of us. It really has nothing to do with board members themselves. It's a political group for the support of those elected officials, Latino elected officials, but it's not a school board issue. Board members are elected officials, so they're in that group of who NALIO wants to contact, but it's not a board member issue. And so basically it's junk mail. It's junk mail that we receive because we're elected officials. We receive a lot of that. So for the future, we're going to just continue the process that we normally do. I don't know why that one. I think just because it had your name specifically on it, and because when they called, they were specifically asking for a list of Latino elected officials. That's not something we normally do. We don't break down or categorize our board members. Male, female, Latino, non-Latino, we don't normally do that. We're just board members. So I don't know why that happened that way, but in the future, we will continue doing what we normally get. We all get junk mail, and it's put in. For example, tonight you had invitations and whatnot, correspondence that came. Some of it, if you were not at a meeting, you may have gotten something that was already past the deadline. You just throw it away. If it's junk mail, you just throw it away.
It's so just that, so they're offering a free, well, potentially free, Northeast Policy Institute on Early Learning, and I looked at the curriculum. It includes like the school to prison pipeline, education on that, and how we can address that at the early school levels. And also, it seemed,
but again,
it's a 2-day workshop.
That's training that you as an individual, because you are a Latino elected official, may want to seek on your own personally, but that's not a board member training.
Should there be any other board member, like maybe Ms. Rosario or Ms. Phillips, that would be interested?
That's not for me to say. That's up to them. that's up to them if they're interested in it. You could pass the information on to them if you want, but
Okay.
actually, it's not, the board is not doing it, the board is not making any recommendation on it. It's a solicitation from a company or a not-for-profit, actually, that's seeking members.
Well, thank you for passing it on to me nonetheless.
Yes, very good. Okay. Anything else, new business, anybody else? Okay. Also, I failed to mention earlier, Charlene Peterson did recommend that new business items that you would like, anyone would like to appear on future agendas. At this point in the meeting, when we come to new business, it should be addressed as, this is an item that I would like to see on the agenda in the future for blah, 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 blah reason. Correct? That's how she,
Yes, yes.
that's how she conveyed it. And that's a change that we'll be working on at the board retreat so that we can implement that into how we do the agenda. Okay? Very good. Now we are back to the public again. This is the time of the meeting for any comment on any item, for 3 minutes for a grand total of 30. And as I said earlier, if there's something that we can simply answer, we may respond at the end of all of the questions after the comment section is closed. But this is your comment section. This is not a back and forth interaction with the board. So at this point, who's first? Yes, sir. If you could stand and state your name and address, please.
John Caglio, Dover, New Jersey. And I'm a 5th grade teacher here in North Dover, as well as the incoming president of the Dover Education Association. I'm here this evening to address some of the direct and accusatory comments made at the last board meeting regarding district administrators and in particular Mr. Robert Franks, principal of Dover High School. The statements asserted that Dover students are being treated differently and inequitably based upon their race. I've been a proud faculty member of the Dover Public Schools for 8 years and learned a long time ago that I cannot tell someone else how to feel, but that their feelings are wrong. Therefore, my purpose here is not to directly address the comments made at the last meeting. However, what I can tell you is this. I had the opportunity to work under the direction of Mr. Franks for 5 years when I worked at East Dover Elementary School, and he was the principal of the middle school. Because we worked in the same building, I was able to converse with Mr. Franks nearly every day. During those same 5 years, I witnessed many students being reprimanded for inappropriate behavior. What I never witnessed was Mr. Franks dealing out consequences based on race and ethnicity. In situations such as bullying, inappropriate language, fighting, or damaging school property, race and ethnicity are irrelevant to the consequences laid out in the student code of conduct. Is that true everywhere? Likely not. Is it true here in Dover? Absolutely yes. I can say definitively and from personal experience that I never once questioned Mr. Franks' fairness in dealing with disciplinary situations. I can say that I watched for 5 years as Mr. Franks handled difficult situations with equity and professionalism. In my association work, I have the chance to talk to teachers from around the district on a regular basis. Recently, when I spoke to several members of the faculty at the high school, they were very surprised to hear about what transpired at the last Board of Ed meeting. Those same faculty members made it clear that they have never witnessed the type of behavior that had been suggested. I'm an educated member of this community. Despite the fact that I am white, I do believe that I am able to recognize racial prejudice and injustice when I see it. In the many years I spent working with Mr. Franks, I never once saw him make a decision or assign a consequence that was based or racially driven in any way.
Excuse me, sir, I just want to let you know you have about 1 minute.
All right, thank you. The faculty and administration at the Dover Public Schools work exceptionally hard to provide a safe and secure learning environment where respect is given to everyone. The staff also provides an excellent education to all of our students regardless of race or ethnicity. We should all be proud to be a part of the Dover family regardless of skin color and ethnic background. Thank you all for your time.
Very good. Thank you for your comments. Who's next? Yes, Mr. Lane.
Long time no see. There's a couple things that I want to address. One thing that I came prepared to address, and one thing that I'm going to address just by hearing what I heard tonight. 2 things that sort of alarm me. It's a situation of temporal proximity, meaning that something happens as a result of something else happening. I've been coming to these board meetings for almost a year, and there's been different things that have happened, different things on social media. I've been called things on social media by board members. In fact, I have the information, I have it. But it's interesting how now there is a push for board member conduct as far as social media, when it was not before, when I was witch hunted. And also, now there's a call for code of conduct, where, well, the videos will serve for themselves, you don't want to watch. Some of the stuff that was done as far as conduct goes was just not acceptable, and I wish it would have been done at the time as opposed to now. So it puzzles me that all of a sudden now there's a call for these things. People can put one and one together. All right, a second thing, the school Facebook site. That is, there's a statement on here by Mr. Becker on the site. It was talked about at the meetings before, and I went on there the other day. One of my relatives is at the middle school, and I saw the page, and I went to click on, make a comment, good job, whatever. I noticed that I'm banned from that page. I'm blocked from making a comment. I have my phone right here with the Facebook page, and you have Chris, can I see yours? Same page, same thing. She has an option of like, comment, or share. It's not on mine. It's not on mine. Facebook site. It's not on mine. So I can't comment. So I'm censored. Basically, I'm censored. Now, I went and I made it. A buddy of mine.
It's about 1 minute to go.
All right, a buddy of mine made a site, and this guy, he's different things, derogatory remarks, foul language on his site. So he went on the Dover site. He was able to like, comment, etc. I went on there, and I can't do anything. Now, I've never said anything on that site. I've never done anything on that site. It's a public school, it's a public site. It's pitched as such. So basically, I see 4 different things that could happen. Restore my rights, ban the rights of all people, Dover, disassociate yourself from that site, or take it down. Because we can't be in a situation where people are censored because they think different from you. I've never said anything. I've never used foul language. I've never called anyone out of their name. I've never done anything. Where a stranger can go on there and say anything they want, but I can't. That's it.
Thank you for your comment, Mr. Lane. Next? Yes.
Hello, my name is Cynthia Osario, 12 Elena Place, Dover, New Jersey. So first off, I'd like to thank all the community members for coming out and past teachers, some of which I had the pleasure of being with, and as well as the board members. So my question is focusing on the budget finance part A, section 5. It says the board recommends authorizing the business administrator / board secretary to dispose of technology items on the listed below. So my question is because the technology doesn't work anymore, because it's trash, or because you just want to get new technology? And if so, is the technology still, work, like, are you still able to work? Do you guys ever consider about donating them?
Thank you for your questions. Anyone? I think you popped up first in the front.
Thank you. Diana Grisales, Salem Village. The question about why there is no summer reading program has been brought up a few times. And the answer was essentially that some parents complained about it and it was removed. While it may be true that some parents were opposed, I've spoken to many people, including some in this room, who want more for their children. So I wanted to I did some research on my own to kind of, about summer reading and the importance of it, or the pros and cons about it. And I wanted to read a few things that I found. Research by the Johns Hopkins University shows that low-income youth suffer significantly from loss of academic skills over the summer. Summer learning can be cost-effective and targeted to support the young people who need it the most. The NSLA, which is the National Summer Learning Association, which is a nonprofit that focuses on closing the achievement gap by increasing summer learning opportunities, says that when our community is equipped to support the whole child for the whole year, the child is healthier, safer, and smarter. Don't we want this for our Dover kids? So I took, there's a little brief research flyer that I would like to submit to the board for your review, because it really supports the summer reading. Our neighboring towns, without naming names, have great programs for kids in a non-punitive way, because I've heard that the board is concerned about that being in the past for kids that don't do it. It is important that our parents, myself as a parent, I know the benefits. I don't think that other parents can know the benefits of it. I don't know if that is the something the board or the schools or the educators want to take on, in educating the parents about the importance of reading, of closing that gap, especially for the community that we live in. Not everyone knows that reading is not just a requirement, that it can be done for fun. So my suggestion is, perfect, thank you. My suggestion is that the summer reading program is reestablished, and not in a punitive way, but rather in an incentive way, something that it can motivate kids to do it, and in the long run, help them for their college. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Yes, I just lost my balance there.
Hi, Krista Singer, 16 Greenwood Avenue. This is the third time I'm asking this question. It dates back to the budget meeting in April. The school-sponsored co- and extracurricular activities line, in 2015, 2016, the actual amount spent on co- and extracurricular activities was $169,681. The projected or anticipated amount for 2017-18 school year is $136,584, which represents a 22% decrease. I'm asking why this is occurring and what is the impact to our students on this 22% cut. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Yes.
Hi, good evening, Cheryl Colligan, French teacher at the middle school. Thank you for coming to the concert. It was wonderful, and to the 8th grades award ceremony, just a wonderful evening. I thought I would just take a moment, though, just to talk about some of our clubs that you don't hear about and that are not publicized. Just a moment or two, some of the successful clubs that are running at the middle school. Our chess club runs every other week. We've got about 25 kids that are in the chess club under the mentorship of Drew Loda, our mathematics teacher. We have a new club this year under one of our new teachers, Bob Miller. He's a language arts teacher, and he started a comic book club. So we feel strongly that that genre of literature, if you will help some of the kids in a more creative way. In fact, one of our students was inspired to take classes at the Cooper School of Design. And then lastly, thank you for agreeing to my field trip with the French group, but I thought I'd mention too that my kids have been very busy raising money all year. We've made some significant contributions to the Cheerful Heart mission group that does aid work in Haiti, specifically targeted that group, that country, because of the terrible devastation in Hurricane Matthew in the fall of this year. The kids have also made corsages, the paper corsages for our veterans, our servicemen and women. We've got them off the places around Veterans Day, locally for our men and women serving in all of the armed forces. And what else? We put nouns all over the school. If you walk in the middle school, there are French nouns on a lot of the building items. And then next week, or in 2 weeks rather, we're going to a French restaurant for French lunches. So it's a thriving group, and I'm enjoying working with the kids. So, thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment. Anyone else? Okay, seeing nothing else, I will close the public comment portion. We thank you for coming this evening, public. Mr. Becker, did you have anything that you wanted to?
Sure, the summer reading program, we share your concern. We reiterated in the past, and it continues to be true, that we've elected, instead of having a program where you send out the books that are to be read by everybody, that we actually have classroom teachers in during the summer. So for a significant amount of our population, it's actually an 11-month school year where they don't get a book list to read at home like many of the other districts do, but our elementary students actually have classes to help them either maintain where they were or actually move ahead. It's not for all students, but for those students who would benefit from it. So I guess what we can always do is take a look. Would we rather have the traditional type program of sending out a listing of books to the parents and saying this is what we recommend you read for the summer? Or do we make the use of our teachers and their professional expertise and go ahead and have them actually provide instruction for the children? In my mind, providing direct focus instruction is preferable to handing out book lists. I do know that at some of our schools, I believe at Eastover, there's work being done that would hand out recommended book lists this summer to be self-directed by parents and students, which certainly there's nothing wrong with that. But I would hate to sacrifice anything for the additional work that we do. And we're probably about the only school at Morris County that affords our elementary students an extra month of education taught by certified teachers in a half-day educational environment. So I think as we weigh all the things, there's certainly opportunity for change and growth. Thanks to Kim, I think we are looking at some lists that are going out, sponsored by the PTA, so they could provide assistance in getting some of the books. But these things are ongoing, and so I take the insinuation that we haven't listened to you is not very accurate. We understand. I'm just asking you to understand as we try to balance our resources. Something that I would think we'd be commended for, of offering an 11-month school year for so many students, doesn't seem to be part of the picture in the discussion. Perhaps it's something we should reflect upon, and maybe that's no longer needed by the town, or wanted by the town, or wanted by the parents, or maybe our teachers don't feel it's beneficial. And I think at the end of this summer, we can certainly take a very good look, do some surveys and see, maybe the time has come to go back to the traditional program. Or perhaps we can implement two programs, doing our school day program and then involving our community, like Kim is doing, in terms of bringing recommended reading programs to the students of Dover. So maybe we can accomplish all ends at the same time. So we are looking at that. I wasn't sure if you knew what was going on at Eastover. Stokes, you want to say anything about that, or?
I can.
Okay.
So yeah, the Eastover PTA is sponsoring a summer reading program for Eastover Elementary and the middle school. We as a PTA board had met and discussed it, had put some preliminary together. I met with Miss Clarette along with Krista, and that will be rolled out probably the second week of June. Obviously it's not mandatory, it's not a punitive thing, it's just something to try to encourage, even if it's just a handful of kids, to read over the summer. There's little incentives and things like that, and then see how that works when we go back to school in September, and if we have to revamp it next year, then we would do that. There's, Ms. Clarette had talked about like a book exchange type of thing, partnering with the library, so it all has to be fleshed out, but I would say probably the second week of June, it would be rolled out.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you very much.
And we do want to mention through Title I, Mr. Bullock is somewhere in the back. But Title I, what we're looking at is we're receiving approval for at Eastover and North Dover. All the students entering grade 5 and 6 are actually being provided with a Kindle that is fully loaded with additional materials for the students. It's provided no charge, and that's a pilot for us to see how that actually works during the summer months, because as you know, we do it during the school year with all our students. Mrs. Sainer, yes, you brought that up several times. I believe I've answered you twice, but we'll give it another go. In terms of the lines that you're talking about, it's rather challenging because that line is split into two separate lines. There's a salary line, and then there's other. Other includes things like academic dinners, paperware for the, not the moving up ceremony, the middle school dinner. So we have a variety of activities. In terms of your question, the total amount for salaries last year is equal to the total amount for salaries next year. There's not one program that has been cut. There's been no cuts in any of our extracurricular activities. There is a cut in the amount being spent because that was a surplus amount in the other line, not the salary line. that we're reducing because we didn't spend it. You know, if we find that we have 40